Hello everyone! Rukhsi from Creatifecundity Incorporated is here with episode 12 of the Social Change for Social Justice video series. This episode continues from the last episode and delves into appearance. I will begin with a song and guess the name of this song. Drop top designer clothes, front row at fashion shows. What do you do and who do you know inside the world of champagne and rolled up notes, prenups and broken homes, surrounded and still alone? Let's leave the party, that's not who we are. We are not beautiful. Yeah, that's not who we are. We are not beautiful. The song is called Beautiful People, sung by Ed Sheeran and Khalid. And beautiful people is the theme of today's episode. What exactly is beauty? And what does it mean to be beautiful? This word has caused people to be in exultant highs on cloud 9, but also devastating lows and internally depressed. My own relationship with the word beautiful has been inconstant. I've definitely been hearing it a lot more as I grew up in my mid-20s and 30s, but definitely not when I was younger and had the struggles of acne-prone skin, acne scars, and overall chubbiness. During those younger years, I noticed that I had no relationship with beautiful, defined as attractiveness, and definitely was not classified as such back then. The strained relationship with beauty continued on into my teenage years when I noticed that in the high school social scene in the United States, students were classified according to the notion of beauty as attractiveness. So you had the mannequin or model looking like females and males sitting amongst themselves during social hours. Those with glasses and perceived to be the intellectual and pedantic types sat amongst themselves, separated from the others, and were classified as the geeks and nerds. Athletes who were also considered physically attractive, muscular, and buff were separate from everyone as well and stayed amongst one another, known as the sportive, athletic types or jocks. And those who were rebellious and anti-popularity, including those experimenting with recreational drugs, congregated amongst one another, and oftentimes outside the school grounds. What exactly is beauty? What does it mean to be beautiful, though? This term is thrown out so frequently in our society, made the subject of songs such as We Are Not Beautiful, sung by Ed Sheeran and Khalid. Is beauty the colorfulness of nature around us? Is it symmetry of facial features? Is it blonde and blue-eyed, brown-haired, red-haired, hazel eyes? Or dark hair, dark skin, tan skin, dark eyes? What exactly is beauty? Is it a model thin figure cut or a curvy body shape? Who exactly judges what is beautiful and what is not? Why exactly do we have this term beauty when, just as the nature around us, we simply exist? If we remove the concept of attractiveness as beauty, we see our existence. We see colors, we see shapes, we see various emotions and moods expressed on our face. If that is what is attractive, then we have no need for the word beauty, because it is a value judgment placed upon us that simply does not exist. Our society has invented concepts and standards of beauty and attractiveness based on mainstream criteria. However, if we examine who we truly are, how we truly look like, there is no attractiveness or beauty. We simply exist: 2 eyes, nose, mouth, hair, face. We simply exist. And as we grow older and our appearance changes, we never lose our existence until we reach the death phase. And then we lose our physical existence. Does that mean we are no longer beautiful when we cease to physically exist? That is because beauty, defined as physical attractiveness, is a moot word, an empty word, that fails to capture the essence of our existence. And its hollowness is the reason why I no longer believe in beauty or beautiful. And I would say that beauty is a societal construction that does not exist in actuality. The natural world around us shows us that beauty does not exist. For example, beauty as symmetry. The majority of human faces are not symmetrical, but asymmetrical, as photographers and facial experts have pointed out. If we examine the nature around us, we see that natural existence too is asymmetrical. See the narrow shapes of the leaves on the trees. As it is springtime now, we can see the different shapes, certain oblong petals, shorter petals. For example, on this violet flower, and this dandelion with a long stem and fuzzy head. So different from the violet or purple flower and natural leaves that I showed you earlier. Just because these different natural life forms have different asymmetrical features does not make them any less worthy or necessary in life. Bunnies rely on these dandelions and purple flowers as their food source. But these plants also emit oxygen that keeps us alive. Similarly, we as humans come in all different sizes and shapes of physical features. And just because we have different sizes and shapes does not make anyone more or less attractive than the other. We are all equal in worthiness and value. Beauty has no hold over us. We each have a unique identity that we share with the world. This physical body is the expression of our identity. For example, I see my two eyes as perceptive and seeing through life around me. My nose bridging the gap between worlds, and my mouth forging relationships with life forms from all worlds. I remember as a high school student when I traveled to Algeria and Tunisia for my internship, and I was facilitating an exchange between elementary school students from the United States and the Algerian and Tunisian regional schools. I traveled to an adoption center during one of my visits to Algiers, the capital of Algeria. There I saw the adorable child with a beaming smile and fireworks lighting up his eyes. He was different from the other children due to his head, which was shaped to be more oblong and elongated than the other children around him. The guardians at this adoption center told me that this child would be one of those left behind because of his elongated and larger head, as adoptive parents would prefer adopting children with more regularized head shapes. I was heartbroken listening to the guardians and staring at the overwhelming joy on the little boy's face. Had I not been a teenager myself, 17 years of age, and had I been much older, I would have adopted that boy, given him a loving home. Why does our society do that? Why do we discriminate against asymmetrical physical features, or those that are irregular and different from regularized forms? At some level, bias influences us. As I grew up, valuing blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin as the epitome appearance within society, because that was the appearance that was being celebrated, elevated, and recognized. As a child, I received images of the epitome of attractiveness being associated with fair skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, brown hair, brown eyes, red hair, green and hazel-colored eyes, where fair features were associated with virtues, but dark features were associated with wickedness. Such discrimination causes pain and depression, as well as a host of mental and psychological illnesses that keep perpetuating in our society. As I grew older and saw my own mother, though she had fair skin, she had dark hair like mine, and I saw her engaged in charitable works, fundraising for needy children around the world, that I realized just how wrong mass messaging was. Because virtue is in every color, every skin tone, every appearance, and every being. We need to move beyond physicality. Through our physicality, we see the visual representation of our identities. We need to move beyond beauty as attractiveness. and beauty itself, as it is simply a social construction, a judgment rendered that causes more harm than healthfulness and positivity. Instead, we need to embrace who we are, not just our physical selves that will disappear upon our demise, but our identities, which are our legacy in the here and now and after we go, our contributions to the world around us and life here. These identities live on in our families, our communities, and the life forms we have impacted. So don't get me wrong, Ed Sheeran and Khalid, I love your song. But I delve deeper into beauty, and we are not beautiful, not because beauty exists. Beauty does not exist. Beauty is illusory, yet identity eternally. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. I leave you with beauty is illusory and imaginary. It ceases to exist for me. Yet identity stays on in me, is retained by the world to see, and remains eternally.